Let me just say this. The skincare industry is in the trillions, and people don't pay attention because it's just cosmetics. There is not one person that did not use a cosmetics product this morning. It's a part of life. As long as the human being exists and there is skin, something is going to go on it. And we're sleeping on this market because, again, it's not serious. It's just beauty, but it's not. It's
Mhm.
hygiene. It's all of
Mhm.
these things that we do every single
Indeed.
day.
Story warrior, we rise and we lead from the motherland's lane. Stories of power, remember the name. Business warriors, voices that shine, African spirit in every line. Lead, inspire, tell your story. Legacy in motion, this is our glory. Story warriors at your word.
If you are a founder, a trailblazer, an author, someone who works with stories, if you are a change maker, come and see the work of another founder, another trailblazer who is changing the face of tropical skincare across Africa. Welcome to the Story Warrior podcast. My name is Gideon Fomukwai, the Story Warrior. Today, I am so honored to have Dr. Edith Gibson, Dr. Edith Delight in our virtual studio and joining us from 1,000 miles away, all the way in Abuja. Good evening, madam. Tell us, did I guess it right? Is it afternoon or is it evening?
Well, it's 3:30, so you're somewhere. You're somewhere in the middle. You're somewhere there.
Okay, close enough, but not too close. Okay, I know you have had a long day. From my understanding, you've had a busy day. Maybe can you characterize just in a short couple of sentences? How's your day been?
Very hectic.
Very hectic. Okay,
you know,
maybe
Africa is hectic.
drop a couple of
Yes.
lines here. You work in the world of research, skincare, and
Yes.
skincare product
Yes.
development. So,
Yes.
what have you done so far today? Just give us one or two, three lines.
Okay, so I got up this morning. I had a meeting with the Director General at the Raw Material Research and Development Council. That's an agency under the ministry, the Federal Ministry of Innovation, Science and Tech in Nigeria, who is my partner. And I'm working directly with that implementation agency to do some of the assignments I'm here to do. So we had a meeting this morning, and then we had to go over to my office and meet with some of the staff to discuss some details as far as we have 6 different projects we have to execute on, and we needed to meet the directors of each of the projects, and then streamline exactly how the operations are going to take place. And then after that, I had to go to my other office, which is TDRTI, to meet with some university professors who we just also signed a partnership with to educate professionals. It's a state university, the National Open University of Nigeria, where we're going to be training over 600,000 students in tropical dermacare. So I had that meeting, and then I went to get something to eat, and I picked up some medication from the pharmacy, and then I ran here because I knew I had this interview with you. So that has been my day.
And you did all of that while still fighting a little bit of a tropical disease. So, thank you so much for honoring this invitation. It's so important to us because there are many people that are in diaspora who wish to do what you are doing. You have started your journey long time ago, and maybe I should say, for those who don't know, where did you get started with the world of understanding of skincare, tropical skin challenges that we take for granted?
Okay, so my journey has been very unconventional. Okay, and I never started my journey knowing that I would be where I am today. It's almost like you start doing one thing and then another thing unfolds, and then you find yourself, here. And of course, I started basic education. I did cosmetology, and then I picked up interest in aesthetics. I went into aesthetics, and then advanced aesthetics, and then medical aesthetics, and then oncology aesthetics, and then holistic skincare. And it's almost like the more I knew, the more I wanted to know. And my educational journey has always been about learning so I can do. So it was never directed. It was never powered by a job opportunity. It was more about wanting to bring about solution. So I went to learn what I needed to know in order to bring a solution. And so it's been very unconventional. And
Wow.
and along the way, I understood that I needed business. I needed to master business atmospheres. And so I went in for a business master's, and then I went in and did a doctorate in industrial psychology. So professionally, I'm medical esthetician. I am cosmetic. Because in the cosmetics field, I do a lot of cosmetics chemistry and the sciences. I work with other collaborators to come up with, whatever it is that we need. And then on the other hand, I also handle the business side of things. So that's in a nutshell how I find myself here.
That's a lot of fields combined. It's a
Yes.
lot of I heard a lot of things happening to do with skincare, oncology, medical, all the things that
Aesthetics.
have to make aesthetics that make us look good. You would take
Yes.
for granted what it takes to look good, but it's a whole lot of work. So where did your journey start? Well, did it start in Africa or did it start overseas? I know that
No.
you've straddled many lanes so far.
Yeah, definitely in the US. I traveled to America at a very young age. I skipped over Form 4. I wrote the GC in Form 5 pass, skipped over lower 6, wrote the
Hmm.
GC, skipped over upper 6. So I wrote the GC. So I was 2 years ahead of my
So you
peers.
must be one of those really, really bright ones, smart ones that can
I think
leapfrog.
I think I was one of those serious ones because I remember I used to listen to the news. There was this news luncheon date. I was a faithful
No. I
listener.
listened to news, but I wasn't the smartest. I listened and I grew up to study journalism, but I was certainly not one to skip a class because I could hold my own in my own class, but skip a
Right.
class or two, I'll be lost. So I doff my hat to you, and thankfully you need those skills because today
Right.
the work that you're doing today requires that level of ingenuity, the level of business, the level of project management, level of medical, aesthetic, all of those combined. So my question is, at what point did you recognize, man, I have to be in this world of looking at tropical challenges relating to skincare that became bigger than anything else that you were trying to do as a cosmetologist?
Okay, so when I went back home after, of course, at my education, I went home to visit my family. At the time, of course, I have two children. My family had never met my kids, so I took
And
them back
home
home
is Cameroon,
in
or home
Cameroon.
is it Cameroon or Nigeria?
No, no, no. Well, home is definitely Cameroon. Okay, so
Okay, all right. Home is Cameroon for anybody that's
yes, it's
listening. But
Cameroon.
you're
It's
currently
Cameroon.
based in Nigeria. Okay,
Cameroon, yes,
Cameroon.
yes. So
All
I
right,
took
love.
the kids to Cameroon to meet family, and I immediately noticed the issues, the skincare issues, because over 80% of the people I interacted with, both family and non-family members, had sort of bleached their skin.
Mm.
And I began to realize that there has to be a deeper issue. And so this is where this whole thing started. I started desiring to go back to Cameroon to see about adding value in that area, in that specific area. And this also accounts for why I ended up doing so many different certifications, because I
Mm.
needed the information to bring about these results. So because I
Yes.
was chasing the results, I ended up, doing all of these things to find a solution. And somehow, in the midst of doing all of this, I realized there is no solution. The solution is going to have to come from research. And this is
Mm.
after years of me flying products from the United States, all kinds of active ingredients, all kinds of cosmeceutical grade products, and even pharmaceutical grade products, and having no results. And
Mm.
we said, hey, how about we start sampling these treatment procedures in a clinical environment, documenting outcome until we find what works. And we did
Mm.
over 8,000 samples and documented outcomes. And we analyzed over 50,000 people in 7 years while we're in Cameroon. And that's
Wow.
how we started coming up with a topic, or let me say the course, the material, because this is what we now teach professionals. This is
I
what
see.
has been adopted by the Ministry of Health in Cameroon for professionals to learn as far as like skincare. Yeah.
This is interesting because First, as you said, you always wanted to focus your learning on the areas that will provide solutions. And you learned, you applied, you learned, you applied. And then you realize that what was in the market did not help tropical skin.
Yeah.
And you had to go out and create something new and experiment it or research it to be sure that it is right. Did I get that correct?
That's correct.
And now that you got it right, the formulation right, somebody wonder, why did she take it to Nigeria? Is it because the largest economy in Africa? Maybe there's too much politics involved there, but help us understand.
Okay.
Why did you take it to next door, Nigeria, which probably already has more industrialists?
Yes. Okay. So there are three major reasons. Okay. When, of course, we're out doing what we do because we want to be able to bring about change. Okay.
Yes.
And for the sake of change, it makes sense to go to the largest, most powerful market, right? And because of the influence, the capacity of influence.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you have 300 million people doing something, it's easier to get the other African countries to copy or follow suit.
That's true.
Right. And that's why we went directly to the governments. That's why when I first started, I said I'm working in collaboration with the government, because the idea is, instead of placing bans on certain toxic carcinogenic ingredients that are used for manufacturing of skincare, how about we replace those ingredients and give professionals an alternative? And once we have that, instead of placing bans, the government can facilitate the creation of a substitute, and then place a requirement for professionals to actually be trained before they can operate on the market. So therefore we work on a policy, and that's what we're working on right now. So by the time you have professionals trained in tropical skincare to handle skincare properly, because we have domesticated the procedures, right? It's not just about the products, it is the products and the treatment protocols. You see what I'm saying? So by the time this is adopted in the educational system, and we have also developed raw material that can replace the active ingredients that are toxic. Because let me tell you this, the toxic ingredients are there to perform a specific task. Most of the toxic ingredients are either there to add shelf life to the products, because again, for marketing reasons or for financial reasons, if a product can make 10 years on the shelf,
increases
a business person wants to buy that, right? But the ingredient that makes that happen is very detrimental to skin. That's number one. Number two, we in this side of the world, in the tropics, the reason it's even called tropical skin is because we are directly up underneath the equator, right? We're hit by UV radiation at 90 degrees. So it is intense. So that being said, you cannot have that kind of exposure and not have protection. And we are not socialized protecting ourselves. We're socialized using either organic, maybe shea butter, or just Vaseline. Now the properties, the skin UV protective properties in some organic ingredients, but how much and how much exposure are you getting? You see what I'm saying? So just that education around how to care for tropical skin, so that by the time you get to your adult years, you're not bleaching off layers from your skin, because now it has become excessively hyperpigmented. And I'm one of those people who believe that hyperpigmentation is the reason people bleach their skin. It's not because Africans don't like themselves. That's a lie. It's because they are hyperpigmented and they want even skin tones. So it doesn't start by you being hyperpigmented and then you start fighting to take off the hyperpigmentation. It starts by protecting your skin from being inflamed and then hyperpigmented. And that comes with the culture of skincare. So that's what we want to teach. That's what is in our curriculum. That's what is in our protocols. And that's what we are getting the government to adopt, and then promote the valorization of the raw material, or let me say the natural raw materials that can actually some of those toxic carcinogenic products. So
it's so beautifully said. I had to pull out the vuvuzela. Whenever somebody pulls out, whenever somebody brings a very powerful point, I cannot resist but bring out this South African vuvuzela. This is kind of like ovulation, yay! Because you said you've found and you've put in place protocols, training of those that will help those in the community in both Cameroon and Nigeria. So that is to blast you off higher and higher, so that my parents, my
Yes.
mother's sisters, friends, my younger brothers and sisters who are still in the continent, they can benefit from this level of understanding of tropical skin. The fact that we're
Yes.
directly under the sunlight, the UV, the exposure for
Yes.
long hours of the day, maybe working on a
Yes.
farm. There are
Yes.
different requirements, different challenges there. So that
Yes.
understanding that you're bringing certainly is one that I really appreciate. But you said something that I cannot forget, that you're now looking at the local raw materials
Yes.
and you're transforming them
Yes.
into something that can help the marketplace even better. Talk to us about the work that you're doing in transformation, because that is a big deal. You're a
Yes,
deal
that's
maker, you're a change maker.
yes, this is the most exciting part for me, because this is what really brings a shift, both an economic shift and I want to call it an identity shift. You know, because we have this identity crisis thing we've fought for years. How African people, they bleach their skin, and once we can actually understand that our own raw materials can bring about the solutions we're looking for in skincare, everything is going to change, both
Absolutely.
economically and the outcome and the way we look and how we love and see ourselves.
There you
Now,
go.
the work we're doing specifically right now, like I said, our implementing partner is a Raw Material Research Development Council, the agency, the federal agency. The first thing we did is we went to all 36 states in Nigeria and we collected data, like samples, skin samples. We use a scanning machine, a device, a skincare device, and we collected the samples. And the reason we did that is because we wanted to understand or have an idea of the state of the skincare, or the state of the skin
Yeah.
for people in Nigeria, because we don't know. There are no standards. Remember, we only copy and paste. All of our education is copy and paste. So you cannot begin to regulate something you have no clue of.
Yes.
So once we collected the data, okay, this percentage of people are hyperpigmented in this area. These other are more dehydrated in this other area. These other people have premature aging, and this, that, and the third. And we put it all together. Now, what we did is we now have to match the reality, the people's reality, with the solution. And the solution is in the raw material, right? So instead of going out to say, oh, we want to use shea butter or cocoa butter or coconut oil, all these things we already know about, we start looking for the ingredients in the raw material that can be a suitable solution. So now, say for example, we see that a lot of people from the north have inflamed skin. Their skin is highly inflamed. Now we start looking for anti-inflammatory ingredients, or ingredients that have properties, anti-inflammatory properties. And we now get the raw material. Let me say, we now get the properties, the anti-inflammatory properties, and we use that to create an anti-inflammatory product that can be sold to that market, or that can be exposed to that market, something like that. So now we are in the process of just selecting raw material, some that we know of, some that we don't know, and we're using those raw materials to now develop those active ingredients for cosmetics. So one that will blow your mind: emulsifiers.
Yes.
Emulsifiers, for the most part, people use stearic acid, citral alcohol, some other people beeswax, and you name it. It's a bunch of emulsifiers. We are currently developing an emulsifier from shea butter. So instead of using a synthetic emulsifier, which is what the majority of skincare products, we can actually take shea butter and develop an emulsifier from shea butter and use that as an emulsion. An emulsifier is just what binds oil and water. So the binding agent.
I was gonna ask what is an emulsifier. I know that the name sounds good. I've used it. I've probably but not know the meaning. So oil, it binds oil and
water. Yes.
And water together.
Oil
Then
and
makes
water.
it
It makes it into a lotion. Every lotion you see, when you take a lotion, it comes out like milk or like cream or whatever. There are emulsifiers in it. So you cannot make a product, a lotion without having an emulsifier. So imagine eliminating the importation of emulsifiers, so we can actually make raw material. We can actually make emulsifiers from our own raw material. We're going to be keeping a lot of money in the country.
And do we have those raw materials in the continent, like shea butter? I think it's okay. It's mined. It's harvested in most of West Africa, and where else?
Over 80% of raw material used in cosmetics comes from the motherland.
Wow, 80%.
Yes.
That's a lot.
Yes.
That's overwhelming. That's for
Yes.
worldwide, not just for
For
Africa.
worldwide. So we and that's what we've been socialized to. We export. There's a lot of exportation of raw material. Like right now, do you know that from our influence and others, the Nigerian government has banned the exportation of raw shea butter?
Wow. Okay. So
Yes.
because of the work that you're doing, the government of
And
Nigeria
others, not just us. I don't want to take all of the credit, but you
All
know,
right. Yeah.
yes,
And the
yes,
export of raw shea butter so that it should be
yes.
now transformed locally.
Yeah.
Now,
So
my question. Okay, go ahead, Doc.
I was gonna say, before you export shea butter, you have to add some value to it. You can't export raw shea butter anymore.
Okay, Doc, I know you've been doing some work in creating new machines that can transform raw materials. Is shea butter one of them? And if so, tell us a little
Yes. So that's I'm really excited about that as well. Not very long ago, I was able to complete the manufacturing of my first machine, and and I worked with some mechanical engineers, and we have been able to develop a machine that can actually produce emulsifiers, and we're excited to be able to deliver raw materials to the manufacturing industries of Nigeria. That's man. So as soon as the procedures are through, we should be able to supply the majority of whatever it is that we import as far as emulsifiers go. And we are still working. Like I told you, we have 6 projects. So we have 1 down, we have 5 more to go. So we have 5 more machines to develop for the creation and the valorization of raw material.
Do you have time to rest? Is rest even a thing about your life now? But on a more serious note, when did your work, Doc, become so important that it shifted from being I'm just a researcher to being this is all about our African identity, this is all about our dignity, and this is all about who we are? When did you make that shift?
I think along the way, it's really difficult to pinpoint, but I guess the thing they say, whenever you set out to become a solution, you find purpose and you find assignment. And I think that's what happened to me, because like you playfully asked, do you find time to rest? When I work, I rest. You would be surprised. Like, that is me in my elements. That is when my mind is just, it's almost like I'm doing what I came here to do. When I'm no more, I'm gonna rest. You see what I'm saying? And it transcends, you just trying to find money or trying to make ends meet. It now becomes, I have to bring the solution. So there are no challenges. Like even the first machine I told you we just created, that was because I couldn't find what I wanted at the time I wanted it. So I sat down with engineers and said, hey, we're going to put this machine together. We wanted to do this, that, and the third. You have brains. You are an engineer. You are an electrical engineer. I am a cosmetic manufacturer. We know what we're doing. I know what I want. I know when I want it to heat. I know when I want it to cool. I know when I want it to deliver. So we're going to sit here. We're going to draw this, and we'll come up with a solution. And when that happens, I don't rest. I can't sleep until it's done.
There you go.
You know
And
what I mean?
that tends to be the way that the greatest minds have operated. So don't be surprised that what you're doing is going to change the face of the continent for a very, very long time. So we applaud what you're doing. Now, Doc, you have straddled many lanes, many lanes. So my question is, has your story helped you along the way to connect with people of different backgrounds? Those in the diaspora, those at home, has your story shaped you or made you become more effective at what you do?
Absolutely. Of course. I haven't had a very easy journey. First of all, I got married early and I divorced early. By the time I was 25 years old, I was divorced with 2 children. And I could have been part of the statistic to say, hey, I'm gonna go on, food stamps and all this stuff. But I never wanted my kids to, I never wanted that to be my kid's story. I didn't want it to come from that. So I decided to win. But then my purpose found me in my decisions. So when I see people I see myself in a lot of younger entrepreneurs, especially female entrepreneurs. That's why I also have the organization Ladies in the Boardroom, where we have over 2,000 entrepreneurs we support.
Wow.
And when I see them, it's almost like I can see exactly where
You
they
see
are because
yourself.
I've been that route.
See
You
yourself.
see,
Yeah.
so it enables me to understand people, my journey, being an entrepreneur, being not ordinary, not going the route of a 9 to 5 where I'm sure where the next paycheck is going to come from. It has, first of all, really humbled me and has enabled me to be a little more patient with people and to be more understanding and to be relatable. It's true
Wow.
that I'm not very good with communication and being online or making friends. It's just because I'm really, really busy. But
I mean,
every chance I get, I'm happy to open up and understand and socialize. And I don't know if that answers the question, but that's
I couldn't see, I couldn't find any defect or any issue at all with your communication. I don't know if anybody would even want to say that. I mean, you are delivering the goods as far as I know in terms of telling us the processes, the things that you're putting in place. And it's fascinating because the kind of passion that you bring is just, it's so rare. But every entrepreneur, every founder at some point leverages their story to advance the cause of the work. Are you using your story as an esthetician, cosmetologist, business leader, a mother, industrial psychologist, a designer? Are you using that story to help other women find their voice? Are you using that story to advance the cause of escape, not only in Africa, but beyond Africa?
Well, I mean, I don't know how good I am using it, but I believe I am because, of course, I never shy away from telling my story. Every chance I get, when people, of course, like I said, the Ladies in the Boardroom, that's like my baby project, where the idea is to empower female entrepreneurs, and we're doing that in Cameroon right now. And that is why the Escape Skincare product is on an affiliate market model, because the idea is to give female entrepreneurs an opportunity to make passive income, so they earn a commission from selling the products, and they don't get to mail anything, don't get to do anything. The company does everything, but they just make, and that's because during the course of my journey, I struggled a lot with residual income. I had no money. And sometimes you have to stop and go hustle and come back to do it. And then, so if I had the opportunity to make some money, even if it was just a little bit of money for food or transportation or gas, it would have been easier. So when I tell my story and my struggle, I try to also find ways to support the people who, who would eventually experience what I've been through. And I find ways to just support them in my. So of course I tell the story as much as I can. But again, sometimes we get carried away, we get busy and we're just doing the work. We don't really get a chance to be coached into telling the story the way it should be told. And these are some of the things that I would really like to do even more.
Okay, I would be delighted to talk offline with you on that, because it may come easy to me because I've studied it for more than 20 years and use it in helping many people. But for you who has been busy creating, developing, you've not had the opportunity to look into that. But I really want to applaud you again for starting that group for women who want to have a chance to project their voice, to project their ideas into the boardrooms, because the boardrooms, that's where decisions get made.
Exactly.
And if you're not there, like they say, if you're not on the menu, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So that
Right?
it's funny, right? So you have to be at the table in order not to be in the menu. But my point is, look at it now with the work that you're doing in creating or designing and launching new machines that can transform rural products. With the work that you're doing in awakening more women. Yesterday was International Day of the Woman. With the work that you are doing in helping Africans to regain their confidence by having or projecting their real body skin tones. Where do you see this work 5 years from now?
5 years from now, I see at least 20 African countries with a national policy that domesticates skincare. Let me just say this: the skincare industry is in the trillions. Okay, the cosmetics industry, and people don't pay attention because it's just cosmetics. But think about this: there is not one person that did not use a cosmetics product this morning. Think about it. So either you're using a soap, you're using lotion, you're using sunscreen, you're brushing your teeth. Because it's like we're right up there with food, oil, and gas.
Part of life.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's a part of life. You are going, as long as the human being exists and there is skin, something is going to go on it. You know,
Wow.
and we're sleeping on this market because again, it's not serious. It's just beauty. It's just but it's not. It's hygiene. It's all of these things that we do every single day. Now, imagine Africa domesticating skincare and cosmetics in general. What it's gonna do is, number one, we will take into consideration what works for us. We're not just swallowing whatever is given to us. Number two, we'll valorize raw material. Imagine how much money is gonna stay in the economy. The majority of our money right now is going to Asia because we're buying skincare from China or ingredients from China, and we're buying, which is still 70% water. We're importing cosmetics products. They're usually 60 to 70% water. So what are you doing? We have to keep that. So in the next 5 years, like you say, with the work we're doing, I see at least 20 African governments with a national policy that domesticates skincare, and I see at least 1 million skincare professionals, tropical skincare professionals. Let me say it that way, because we're talking about skincare that's domesticated. So people who understand the tropics and they have mastered how to handle and care for tropical skin.
Okay, Doc. First, what will it take to have the 1 million skincare professionals across Africa? And secondly, what will it take? Maybe 1 or 2, 3 things?
So partnerships with universities, that's it. Okay. So, like I said, we have the first official partnership with the National Open University in Nigeria. This university has over 500,000 students, about 600,000 students. Okay. And we're working towards making this certification, just a certification program, mandatory, on the basic. And then for people in applied sciences, people in chemistry, and people in entrepreneurship, to do take it a little further. So imagine we do, out of the 500,000 students, we're doing 100,000. That's a good number. We have two other universities that are showing interest right now. One of the universities has about 5,000 students. The other one has close to 300K students, I believe. And of course, there's UNILAG that is showing interest. And this is a course that I believe a lot of people will jump on. Like you see, it's already happening. Yes. So by the time we partner with these universities, there's no point in reinventing the wheel and opening up another school. And we don't want to do that. We just want to add value. Yes. So once we partner with these universities and we get the students certified and we get them licensed, and then we start shutting down operations that are not licensed or that have no certifications. That is how we're going to get 1 million people enrolled. In Nigeria alone, you have over 65,000 professionals. I believe we did the estimate between Abuja and Lagos, about 65,000 who are just operating with no control, with no measures. And this is a conversation I've had with the directors at NAFDAC and the directors at the Ministry of Health. So we know for a fact, and this is actually needed. In Cameroon, the same. In Cameroon, we were given the authorization to train medical professionals already. The Minister of Health signed that authorization for us. But again, we still need to partner and collaborate with other universities and nursing schools there. And then, we can do the certification around Africa. So it's possible. We are on the way to making it happen, and of course I see it happening in the next 5 years.
Amazing. Now maybe I put this one as almost the last but one question. Let's say you were to look into your Rolodex of countries that are beginning to understand the importance of valorizing or transforming African products that can potentially be useful in skincare products, additives and all of that. Which are some of the 20 countries or 5, 6, 7 that you think that they have the understanding or they have the desire and they're kind of like positioning themselves to work with you or with your other partnerships to move things forward?
So of course Nigeria,
Nigeria,
there's Uganda. The
Uganda.
Ugandan government was actually here, and we're waiting to have a meeting with the president soon. So of course Uganda is there. You have Ghana.
Ghana.
Ghanaians, because of course we all know they're forward thinkers and all of that.
Shea
And
butter
then
too. They're very big on
Shea
shea
butter
butter.
is huge over there, and they have
Yeah.
fantastic raw material. You have Cameroon. Cameroon
Cameroon.
has great resources. You'll be surprised. And of course, there is South Africa, because we did some work there already. Even though South Africa is not quite tropical,
Tropical.
but
That's
there are
right.
a lot of resources there as well, and they're more technologically advanced, so we can work with them. Of course, Tanzania, Namibia, Botswana, all of those countries around there. It makes sense. There's the DRC, very major because of the wide use of cosmetics over there as well. But those are some of the countries, but definitely we want to cover Africa.
Wow. If you cover DRC, you cover Uganda, Nigeria, I mean, that's a significant chunk of the population in tropical
Yes.
Africa. So that's
Yes.
undeniable. So usually
Yes.
on this program, I would try to surprise my guests, not to make them feel bad, but just to have a little element of fun. I got my magic story bag here, and
Okay.
I'd like you to allow me to bring out 3 items. You choose one of them to tell a little random story about it. If you can relate it to skincare, tropical skincare, I'll be happy. If not, that's okay. But you have 60 seconds to tell a little story about one of these items. Are you ready?
Okay.
Are you ready? I'll bring out the items and then I'll show you
Yes,
in a
I'm ready.
minute. Okay,
Okay.
I'll show you. The first one is okay, I got the second one out. I got let me see. I got the third one out. So you could tell us a little story about this. I'm sure you can see that, right? You can tell us a little story about that in 60 seconds. Or if, on the other hand, you can see this as tiny little egusi seeds, or you can tell us something about these binoculars.
Oh,
Which one
okay.
of these which one of these would you need very much in moving your agenda of better skincare for all people in tropical Africa? Is it this one? Is it this one with the egusi seeds? Or is it the binoculars? Which one of them you like to talk about for 60 seconds?
Of course, we're gonna go for the seeds.
The seeds. Okay. All right. I could tell you're going to go for the seeds. So these are egusi seeds, but they may not just be egusi seeds. It could represent any other seed that you're using in your research, in your on your journey to make Africa the next best place to transform its raw materials.
Nice. Okay. So there is a collaborator of mine, Professor Runde, and he is a head of department at National Open University, and we work together as well in TDRTI. And he has been sourcing raw material from the north so we can do some extracts and characterize. And whenever he brings the raw materials, he'll take a picture and show me, and then he will do the extraction, and then we'll do the characterization to see the properties, like I said before, the properties, so we can tailor it to skin conditions.
Yeah.
So he sent me a picture, and I'm looking at the picture. I'm like, these are definitely egusi seeds, because it looks just like it.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it. I'm like, is that what it is? So I text him. I'm like, are these egusi seeds? He starts to laugh, and he says, I'm not going to tell you what it is because that would be intellectual property, right? I'm like, what are you talking about? It's not intellectual property on egusi seeds.
Yep.
Whatever. So fast forward, we extracted the oil. And he gave me 3 extracts. I wasn't there, so he did the extracts and they brought it to my office. So I needed to try them in the formula, so I started testing them, and then he goes, "Which one is your egusi seeds then?" So of course he has already done the extract, so I can smell, and I'm trying to smell to figure out which one is. I don't know which one it is, but coming to find out, he named them different things, and that particular one he called My Baby, and the My Baby oil was very, very fine, soft, not heavy at all, highly penetrable, and just really fantastic for the skin. And I was like, I like My Baby over all of them. I said, I like My Baby over all of them. And then She said that could possibly be your egusi seeds.
Because
But I
this
want to
is,
tell
oh
you,
my
I want to
goodness.
tell you, just because they look like egusi seeds does not
Yeah,
necessarily mean egusi seeds. So
I
I'm
agree
still
with
on
you.
the quest of finding out what that was,
Very
what the
interesting.
seeds are. Yeah. So,
Very interesting. And there's so many crops, tropical crops that are from the Iguzi family of
yes.
calabashes. They call them out in the West goats and so on.
Mhm,
So I
mhm,
don't know what
mhm,
that's going to be, but what I want
mhm.
to do is really thank you for betting on Africa, for going all out, leaving the comforts of the West, going back to the
Yes.
motherland and staking and believing that you can work with the local engineers in finding local solutions. You can work in
Yes.
transforming, in finding out what are the possibilities for all the tropical products that we've known for ages, but nobody's doing
Yes.
anything about it. So I really want to appreciate you, and to all your colleagues, your supporters from the Tropics Derma Research and Training Institute. I want to say
Yes.
kudos to all of you. We hope
Thank
that
you.
as you begin to create more products, you can come back to the Story Warrior platform and share this good news with
Absolutely.
more people, because people are watching this from Singapore, where I spend a lot of time, who
Oh
are
wow.
interested in Africa. They're watching this from Middle East. They're watching this from Africa, from Europe, and other places. And we're thankful to you for doing this work, because somebody got to do it. And if no one can do it, no one is ever going to do it. So thank you so much. For anyone who is watching for the first time, how can they find out more about you, about your products, about your work? Where can we find out more about you?
Okay, the easiest way to find every information you would want about me would be to go on the website, tropicsderma.com. So the TROPICSDERMA.com. That would be the best way. Over there, you would be linked to our skincare products that we have on the market already. Escape by Edith Delight. You're gonna get access to our education, the curriculum, the universities, our partnerships, and all of that. Our research, different research projects that we have going on right now is all on the website.
Tropicsderma.com.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gibson. We appreciate you, appreciate your time, and we hope that you come back again and tell us when the new
Absolutely.
products are coming.
Absolutely.
For those who are
Yes.
watching for the first time, follow her on social media. She doesn't have a
Yes.
lot of time for social media, but I promise if you go look for some of her products, you can find them there. So
Yes.
you will send us
Yes. Yes. Yes.
new updates, and we'll be delighted to have you on again in the near future.